Star, hey! That's why it's called a single. Ready?
Y'all know the story. Round 4. Welcome to the YouTube channel. And to make an extremely long story short,
exactly.
yeah.
Really?
You're like super dark. I can't.
What do you mean I'm super dark?
You're in the shadow. You're just a mystery figure. You're a mystery. Alright, I'm at the shop. No one else is here except me and On Lee, which is fine. I'm going to go open up the shop, I guess, and get this party started. Whistle, whistle. I gotta redo the exhaust hanger on it though, because it's a little rattly inside. But other than that, it's not too bad. I can live with that. Anyways, whew, time to get the day started. I need to help Joey open up the shop, get all the trucks out, and then get Skippy in, and we got lots to do today, boys. Today is a lot more tame, which is okay with me. Not that many people. On Lee's back today, but yeah, Joey's here today too, which is nice. Anyways, today is a calmer day. It's not full of people. It's not going crazy or anything, which is nice. I'll be able to do the rod bearings on Skippy and not worry about someone hammering and doing crazy stuff. But yeah, I'm looking for my mustache comb. Yeah, that's a thing. It was too soon. Too soon.
I don't know, it'd be better just using this or putting this on there and using the bigger Jeremy Clarkson.
So what's going on here? What are you trying to do?
So if you look, it's
So the camber caster bolts are seized onto the control arm.
yeah. I mean, so far it's just the camber ones up front, the sleeve.
Just the fronts?
Yeah, the backs are great.
The backs are fine? Oh. Well, you know what? I gotta think, like, my 480 series was like in Japan, probably just ferried some Japanese salaryman back and forth. And then all of a sudden, one day, woke up in Texas, having a mustache man just touch it all over and put big tires and re-gear it and all this stuff. It's so confused. Now it's just getting all sorts of love and attention. But anyways, Michael's cutting away at it. I said I was gonna have a quiet day, but that turned out to be a lie. And so yeah. Today we are going to address the rod bearings, and the main thing is that apparently the rod bearings from Japan, when the truck was built, were too soft, and what ends up happening is the upper bearing on the rod bearing gets eaten away. The bottom's usually okay, but it's the uppers that get eaten away, and that's where all the power is distributed anyway. So I'm kind of curious to see what condition they're going to be in. it's gonna be a little scary. So hopefully no damage to the crank or anything. And yeah, so I'm gonna help Michael real quick with his Tacoma and try to get those sleeves out of his A-arms. And then we're gonna go ahead and pull my oil pan. Also is because I want to let that engine cool off. I don't wanna do rod bearings in a hot engine.
Drastic measures, Pablo?
Yes. Yeah, see how it's bubbling in there? Go ahead and try again.
Yeah, I forgot to tell you that we're
More
we're up
torching.
here. Yeah. I meant to call you when I got here because I forgot to call you when I left.
What I am going to do now is I'm going to go ahead and drain the oil and get ready to drop the oil pan so we can expose the crankshaft and take a look at those rod bearings. I'm going to need to be able to turn the crankshaft, so I got to get this plate off of it. And it's really easy, it's just the bolts. And there's easy access to the crank. Now there's some wings at the back of the transmission that cover up the whole back bolts. So I'm gonna take those off and then I'm gonna start taking the 10 mils off all the way around. The hardest part of this job really is the taking the oil pan off. I mean, that's what the Australians say. And they also say weird things. Like, they don't call them rod bearings, they call them big end bearings. $50 10mm bolts later, I finally got them all off. Now, I gotta find a spot between the oil pan and the block that I can kind of put a little chisel in between and try to separate the silicone that's sealing it all the way. And once I can break that free, the oil pan comes off and it's pretty much smooth sailing from there, as for I hope. Alright, now that the oil pan is off, I was going to turn the crank to where numbers 1 and number 6 were at bottom dead center. That means that the connecting rod was at the lowest point of its travel, but when the engine shut off, it shut off with both of those at bottom dead center. So now I'm going to take these end caps off, and we'll be good to see how the bearings look like. There's one. Actually, I'm gonna play this safe. Hold on. Don't worry about torquing them down until it's on the vehicle. High rod. High rod. Stuck inside high rod. It's actually stuck back. Oh yeah. Okay. And I'm just gonna take that edge right there, and I'm gonna push this bearing to turn all the way around. Ah, yeah. Cool. So, I'm glad I'm doing this. Not horrible, but you can see how it's been hammering pretty hard on here, and it's starting to wear the bearing away. And this is the problem with them. And eventually what happens is that once it gets down to the copper film, the copper part of the bearing, it's too late, and the bearing no longer, the crankshaft does not float on the bearing anymore. It actually makes contact with it, eating away the rod end cap. So, wow, it's not too bad, but it's not what I want to see. The crank journal looks perfectly fine. So we caught it at a really good time, which makes me very happy. So the bearings that we decided to go with are from Taiho. I did some research because they're the only ones at the time that I could get before Toyota Jamboree, and heard a lot of good reviews on them, and they also talked good about them on I Hate Mud. So that made me feel a little better. I went ahead and ordered their rod end cap bolts because, well, I'll explain that here in a minute. So these are torque to yield, and what torque to yield means that when you tighten these, they stretch out, and once they stretch out, that's it. They can't be reused. So we got a new set of end cap bolts, and these are just going to be tossed in the trash. That way we don't get them mixed up with the new ones. I'm going to go ahead, I already put the new bearing on the end cap. I'm going to put a new bearing on the connecting rod, put a little bit of oil on there, and then slap it back on, and then we'll torque it down. So also I wanted to double make sure that the bearings are standard, which they are on these, and then these say standard on them as well. So they should be good. If you're unsure, you can always plastic gauge, but I did my measurements beforehand, so I know that these are going to be good. So I'm going to go ahead and just. So these are pretty much pretty proof as to you can only put them on one way. There's alignment pins here and here. If you're still questioning it, the notch ends made up at the same side, so they're not mixed up. And yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and slap this one in. All right, so I have these snug right now. I'm gonna make sure that I still have forward and back movement. Movement in this direction is okay. Movement in this direction is not okay. And it's nice and smooth. We just got forward and back movement. So go ahead and torque these down to 27 foot-pounds. Okay, make sure that's good. Click. And click. And now that they're torqued down to 27 foot-pounds, we will mark them, and then we're gonna turn them 90 degrees. So they're marked forward, and when we're done, they should be pointing at the passenger side, which will be done. How diesel-y am I? Is it all over my face?
Oh yeah. Left side.
It's all in my hair too.
It's a good look.
Oh, that's how you get the greasers in the 50s, right? All right, so cylinder number 1, we are done with. We can walk away from it. It's all torqued nicely. We still got forward and back thrust movement, which is good. And we can move on to number 6.
Doing great, Pablo.
Alrighty, so I finally got both of the, not both. I got all the bearings changed out, and they weren't too bad. They were kind of acceptable, but not really. I don't know. They had the wear like everybody else says online to be careful of. And just like always, it's the lower bearing. The lower one has no wear issues, but the top ones do. And they all looked about the same, which is good. That means the engine's pretty healthy and it's even. There's no naughty cylinder that's throwing the engine off balance. So now I gotta clean up the oil pan and the bottom of the block, clean all that up, and then seal this thing back up, put oil in it, and fire it up, see how it does. All right, I'm trying to conserve as much as I can, and I just realized I had manual focus and not autofocus, but I got the oil pan all nice and cleaned up. I cleaned the bottom of the engine, so that's ready to go. I'm gonna go ahead and lay my silicone on the pan, and then we'll just cinch it all up, and we're done. We'll put oil in it and fire it up, see what it does. You can hear it. It's sounding real good. I kind of forgot that I was recording. I'm checking for oil leaks. But I kind of forgot I was recording. Sorry. But I mean, y'all know how to put oil in an engine. So yeah, it sounds real smooth. It's actually, in my opinion, it sounds quieter. And I think it might just be a placebo effect. I don't know. But it sounds good. It's not knocking. It's not lacking oil pressure. It's primo. So I'm gonna call that a success. And now I'm just gonna put all the bottom bracket plates back on it, and I think that's it for today. I'm burned out. I'm tired. I want to go home. I want to see my kids. So we're gonna end it at this one. If you liked the video, hit the like button. If you haven't, please subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And yeah, I hope to see you guys soon.